After 40, love by itself often doesn't work, even between two people who still care deeply, because at this stage of life, love is no longer the toughest part of a relationship. The real challenge becomes responsibility, emotional maturity, and moving in the same direction. When people are young, love feels like the ultimate answer. Passion and excitement make everything seem possible. But after 40, life has already tested you. Careers, kids, money stress, past heartbreaks, and old wounds start to reshape what a relationship really needs. After 40, many people start to see a truth about relationships that most people never say out loud. Love on its own is not always strong enough to hold two lives together. When people are younger, love feels powerful, almost magical. It feels like something that can defeat every problem. Two people fall in love and believe the intensity of their feelings will automatically fix every issue that shows up. In youth, love is often driven by excitement, attraction, and the belief that passion can conquer anything. But life eventually teaches a harder lesson. By the time someone reaches their 40s, they've already lived through many realities that change how they see relationships. They've gone through stress, responsibility, letdowns, and sometimes deep heartbreak. Work may demand more time and energy. Children may need constant care. Financial pressure can cause tension. Aging parents may need support. All these responsibilities slowly reveal something important. Love might begin a relationship, but it does not automatically handle the weight of real life. At this point, relationships need much more than feelings. They need patience, teamwork, communication, and emotional maturity. Two people can truly care for each other and still struggle if they can't handle daily challenges together. For example, if one partner avoids responsibility while the other carries most of the load, love alone cannot fix that imbalance. If communication falls apart and problems get ignored instead of faced, love slowly gets buried under frustration. Over time, affection may still be there, but the relationship itself starts to feel draining. Another reason love alone often isn't enough after 40 is that people begin to value peace more than excitement. In younger years, emotional intensity can feel thrilling. The highs and lows of a passionate relationship can seem romantic, but as people grow older, chaos loses its charm. Constant fights, jealousy, insecurity, or emotional drama become exhausting instead of exciting. What many people really want at this stage is calm. They want a partner who brings peace, not constant stress. Someone who makes life simpler instead of more chaotic. There is also a deeper level of self-awareness that comes with age. After decades of living, people begin to understand their own needs more clearly. They see what kind of space helps them grow and what kind of patterns slowly harm their well-being. Because of this, they realize that love without respect cannot last. Love without trust cannot feel safe. Love without shared goals eventually sends two people in different directions. This truth can be painful because it goes against a romantic idea many held for years. The idea that love alone is enough feels comforting, but real life often proves something different. Long-lasting relationships need structure, effort, and emotional partnership. They need two people who are willing to grow together and face problems together under the weight of everyday life. After 40, love still matters deeply, but it isn't the whole foundation anymore. It becomes one part of a bigger structure that includes responsibility, emotional intelligence, shared values, and mutual respect. Without those pillars, even honest love can slowly lose its power to keep a relationship standing. By the time people reach 40, they almost never enter relationships with a completely clean emotional slate. Life has already left its marks. Past relationships, betrayals, disappointments, and personal mistakes add up over the years, creating what many call emotional baggage. This baggage is not always visible from the outside, but it strongly shapes how someone feels love and connection. Unlike younger relationships, where two people may come together with more openness and fewer fears. Relationships after 40 often carry the hidden weight of earlier emotional wounds. Many people at this stage have already had their hearts broken. Some have gone through painful breakups, divorces, or long relationships that ended suddenly. These experiences change how they see trust and vulnerability. When someone once gave their heart fully and later felt betrayed or left behind, it becomes harder to open up again without holding back. Even when they meet someone kind and sincere, part of their mind stays careful, always remembering the old pain. This does not mean the desire for love goes away. In fact, the wish for love can become even stronger with age because people value companionship, emotional support, and shared life moments more deeply. But emotional scars do change how love shows up. Someone who has been hurt in the past may look at situations more closely. They may need more time before they trust. They may question intentions or hesitate before fully committing. These reactions are not signs of weakness, but protective habits built through experience. Emotional baggage also affects communication. For example, a person who once felt emotionally ignored may become very sensitive to any sign of distance or coldness. Small misunderstandings might trigger deeper fears of being abandoned. On the other hand, someone who once lived in a controlling relationship may become highly protective of their independence, even when their current partner has no wish to limit their freedom. In this way, the past quietly shapes present behavior. Another layer of difficulty comes from the fact that both people in a relationship after 40 usually carry their own history. Each brings different emotional lessons, expectations, and fears into the connection. Sometimes these histories fit well, creating empathy and understanding, but sometimes they clash, causing confusion that neither person quickly realizes is rooted in old pain. Because of this, love alone cannot erase emotional wounds. Real affection may be there, but healing still needs time, honest talk, and emotional awareness. A partner cannot just say, "I love you," and expect old scars to vanish. Both people have to slowly build trust through steady actions, truth, and patience. Over time, emotional safety allows old defenses to soften. Relationships after 40 often work, not because love is more intense, but because both partners are willing to face their emotional history and work through it together. When two people see each other's past pain and respond with compassion instead of judgment, love starts to grow into something deeper and more steady. One of the biggest shifts that happens in relationships after 40 is the growing realization that compatibility matters far more than simple chemistry. When people are younger, relationships often begin with strong attraction. Physical looks, excitement, and emotional sparks create a powerful pull. Two people may feel drawn together quickly and believe that the intensity of their feelings means they are meant for each other. In early adulthood, chemistry can seem like the most important part of love. If the attraction is strong enough, many think everything else will somehow fall into place. But as people live more life and gather experience, they start to see the gap between attraction and true compatibility. Chemistry creates the first spark, but compatibility decides whether two people can actually build a stable life together. By the time someone reaches 40, they've usually watched or lived through relationships where passion was strong, but the partnership still fell apart because deeper pieces were missing. Compatibility is about the everyday realities that shape a relationship. It includes shared values, similar life goals, and the ability to solve problems as a team. Two people may feel deeply drawn to each other, but if their expectations about life move in totally different directions, the relationship can slowly become strained. For example, one partner may focus on career growth and long working hours, while the other wants a quieter life centered on family and personal time. At first, these differences may seem minor, but over time, they can create constant tension. Communication style is another part of compatibility that becomes more important with age. Some people like to talk about problems openly and deal with conflict directly, while others avoid confrontation and shut down when things get hard. When these styles clash, misunderstandings grow bigger and more frequent. After years of lessons, many people see that being able to talk through problems calmly is far more valuable than simply feeling strong attraction. Lifestyle habits also start to matter more in relationships after 40. Daily routines, money habits, health choices, and social preferences all affect whether two people can comfortably share a life. Someone who values stability and careful planning may struggle with a partner who makes quick, impulsive decisions. In the same way, differences in how each person handles money can put serious pressure on the relationship, even if both truly care for each other. Another reason compatibility becomes so important later in life is that people are less willing to completely reshape who they are for a relationship. In younger years, many are more flexible, willing to shift their interests or lifestyle to match their partner's world. But after decades of personal growth, careers, friendships, and lived experience, people build a clear sense of who they are. They know what helps them thrive and what creates stress or misery. Because of this clarity, relationships that rely only on chemistry often start to feel unstable. Attraction alone cannot line up two totally different life visions. Over time, the excitement that first pulled them together may fade. And what's left are the daily realities of whether they actually work well as partners. When compatibility is strong, relationships tend to feel more natural and sustainable. Two people understand each other's pace, support each other's goals, and face challenges with cooperation instead of constant fighting. The connection may not always feel dramatic or explosive, but it creates something far more valuable, a sense of partnership that can survive the messiness of real life. As people grow older and past 40, their idea of what makes a relationship truly satisfying begins to change in a deep way. One of the biggest changes is the growing preference for peace over pure passion. Earlier in life, emotional intensity often feels exciting and attractive. Dramatic moments, heated arguments, jealousy, and wild highs and lows can create a rush that many mistake for deep love. The unpredictability can make a relationship feel alive, as if every moment is full of urgency. But time and experience, many people begin to see the hidden cost of that constant emotional ride. What once felt exciting starts to feel tiring. The emotional roller coaster that once seemed romantic shows itself as a source of anxiety and instability. By their 40s, most people have gone through enough to realize that nonstop emotional chaos slowly drains their energy and peace of mind. At this stage, many are juggling multiple roles. Work may demand more focus and commitment. Family responsibilities, including raising children or helping aging parents, may need patience and consistency. Financial planning, health issues, and long-term goals also become more serious. In the middle of all this, a relationship full of unnecessary drama no longer feels exciting. It feels like one more heavy weight. Peace becomes precious because it provides emotional safety. When someone comes home after a long, difficult day, they usually want comfort, not conflict. A partner who listens, tries to understand, and offers support becomes far more important than someone who constantly creates tension. Instead of chasing adrenaline-filled moments, people begin to value calm talks. Mutual understanding and the quiet comfort of knowing their relationship is a steady part of their life. This does not mean passion disappears after 40. Attraction, affection, and emotional closeness can still be strong and even grow deeper. But passion becomes balanced by emotional stability. Instead of wild, dramatic displays of love followed by painful arguments, mature relationships focus more on consistency and reliability. A partner who is respectful every day, speaks honestly, and creates a peaceful space becomes far more valuable than someone who swings between intense love and emotional chaos. Another reason peace becomes more important is that people develop clearer emotional boundaries. After years of experience, they become less willing to accept behavior that harms their mental health. They notice patterns of manipulation, needless conflict, or emotional unpredictability much faster than before. Instead of chasing the thrill of intense emotions, they choose relationships that protect their inner balance. Over time, the meaning of love itself changes. Love is no longer judged by how intense someone feels in one heated moment, but by how safe, respected, and supported they feel over the long run. The steady presence of a partner who brings stability, kindness, and calm into daily life becomes far more meaningful than dramatic gestures followed by fights and confusion. By the time people reach 40, their sense of time begins to shift in a real way. In younger years, time often feels endless. Many believe they have decades ahead to experiment, make mistakes, and recover. Because of that wide open feeling, people in their 20s or early 30s may stay in relationships that are unclear, unstable, or emotionally draining, hoping things will somehow improve. They may accept unhealthy patterns because they think there is still plenty of time for everything to work out. But as people move through life and gather more experiences, their awareness of time sharpens. Turning 40 often brings a deeper sense that life is limited and that every year matters more. Many start to reflect on how fast time has passed and how many important years have already been spent dealing with different life stages. This awareness doesn't have to create fear, but it does push a more thoughtful, intentional approach to relationships. At this point, individuals are less willing to pour their energy into situations that constantly create stress, confusion, or emotional pain. After decades of lessons from past relationships, they recognize patterns that once kept them stuck, behaviors they used to ignore or explain away, like lying, emotional manipulation, disrespect, or constant chaos, become much harder to accept. They begin to see that staying in a harmful relationship doesn't just affect the present. It also uses up valuable time that could be spent building a healthier, better, more meaningful life. This new respect for time also makes people more selective about who they let into their emotional world. Instead of focusing only on attraction or excitement, they start looking closely at character, values, and emotional maturity. They ask deeper questions about whether a potential partner truly adds to their long-term happiness and stability. The wish for real connection is still strong, but it is balanced with the understanding that not every relationship deserves the same level of investment. Another key factor is that many people after 40 have already built major parts of their lives. They may have steady jobs, personal routines, and support networks of friends and family. Bringing someone new into this established life takes careful thought. A relationship that brings constant conflict or emotional chaos can quickly feel out of place with the stability they've worked hard to create. Because of this, people at this stage often value relationships that feel supportive and even rather than wild or unclear. They appreciate partners who respect their time, tell the truth, and add something positive to their daily lives. Instead of chasing intense but shaky connections, they look for relationships that feel solid and mutually supportive. This growing respect for time also strengthens personal boundaries. People become more willing to walk away from situations that don't match their emotional needs or life goals. They realize that ending an unhealthy relationship is not failure, but an act of self-respect. Choosing peace and personal growth over long-term conflict becomes a way to protect the years still ahead. As people move past 40, the qualities they find attractive in a partner often begin to shift in quiet but powerful ways. In younger years, attraction is often driven by outer traits like physical appearance, charm, confidence, or social standing. These qualities can create quick excitement. A fun personality, good humor, or an appealing look can easily pull two people together. At that age, emotional depth and self-awareness are not always at the top of the list. But with time and life experience, people start to see that long-term happiness in a relationship depends on more than surface-level attraction. By 40, many have been in relationships where physical chemistry was strong, but emotional understanding was weak. They may have learned that charm without empathy can lead to confusion, and that attraction without emotional maturity can create chaos. Because of these lessons, emotional intelligence slowly becomes one of the most valued qualities in a partner. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, and also notice and respond thoughtfully to the emotions of others. A person with strong emotional intelligence tends to speak openly, listen carefully, and handle conflict calmly and with respect. These skills become more and more important as relationships face the complex realities of adult life. Disagreements are unavoidable in any close connection. Two people with different opinions, backgrounds, and roles will naturally hit moments of tension. In relationships with little emotional intelligence, these disagreements can quickly explode into blame, defensiveness, or silent treatment. Instead of solving the issue, the conflict leaves both people feeling hurt or unseen. By contrast, a partner with emotional awareness handles conflict differently. They are more likely to pause, use before reacting, think about the other person's feelings, and look for useful solutions. This way of responding builds an environment where both partners feel heard and respected. Over time, this sense of emotional safety holds the relationship together much better than physical attraction alone ever could. Another reason emotional intelligence becomes more attractive with age is that life after 40 often means handling layered emotional situations. Work stress, family duties, personal losses, and health worries can all add emotional weight. A partner who can offer understanding and stability during these times becomes incredibly valuable. Instead of adding to the stress, they help create balance and comfort. Empathy plays a big role here. When someone truly tries to understand their partner's feelings and experiences, it builds trust and closeness. Small acts of patience, kindness, and support can have a deeper impact than grand romantic gestures. Over time, these steady acts of understanding form the base of a lasting partnership. As priorities shift, many people see that emotional maturity is not just attractive, it is necessary. The ability to speak honestly, handle stress, show compassion, and respect boundaries becomes essential for keeping harmony in a relationship. What once seemed impressive charm, confidence, or excitement becomes less important than the quiet strength of emotional intelligence. By their 40s, another important shift often happens in how people see relationships. Earlier in life, many unconsciously search for someone who will complete them. The idea of finding a partner who fills emotional gaps, fixes insecurities, or gives life meaning is a powerful romantic story, often fed by movies and culture. In younger years, people sometimes expect relationships to fix their loneliness, heal old pain, or create a sense of identity they haven't fully built inside themselves yet. But as life goes on and experiences pile up, people begin to develop a stronger sense of who they are. By 40, many have already faced challenges that push them to grow on their own. They may have built careers, faced personal struggles, learned skills, and discovered their strengths and weaknesses. Through this, they slowly become more self-reliant and emotionally aware. Instead of relying on someone else to give their life meaning, they begin to understand how to create stability and purpose from within. This growing independence changes what they want from a partner. Rather than searching for someone who completes them, they look for someone who complements the life they already have. The relationship becomes less about filling emotional emptiness and more about sharing life with someone who respects their individuality. Both partners bring their own lives, goals, and growth into the relationship, creating a bond based on mutual support rather than dependence. Independence also affects how people make decisions in relationships. Younger couples may lean heavily on each other for approval or direction. They might fear making big choices without their partner's agreement because their sense of self is tied closely to the relationship. After 40, people are often more comfortable standing on their own beliefs and values. They may welcome their partner's advice, but they no longer feel they must give up their identity to keep the relationship. This independence also builds stronger respect for personal space and individuality. Mature relationships usually allow both partners the freedom to keep their own interests, friendships, and routines. Instead of feeling threatened by independence, partners see it as a sign of emotional health. A good relationship becomes a place where two whole people support each other's growth, rather than hold each other back. This shift also cuts down on unhealthy emotional dependency. When someone relies fully on a partner for happiness, they may fear losing the relationship so much that they accept behavior that hurts them. In contrast, people who feel steady in themselves are better able to set boundaries and speak their needs clearly. They stay committed, but they understand their self-worth does not rest entirely on another person's presence. Over time, this creates a more balanced partnership. Each person keeps their own identity while still deeply investing in the relationship. The bond becomes stronger because it's built on choice, not desperation, on respect, rather than need, and on two independent lives choosing to move forward together. By 40, many people begin to understand that love alone cannot keep a relationship alive unless it is backed by a shared sense of direction and purpose. In earlier life stages, relationships often run on emotion, attraction, and the thrill of getting to know someone new. The focus is usually on how strong the feelings are right now. When the emotional bond feels powerful, it can seem like that alone will carry the relationship into the future. But with age and experience, people start to see that a relationship needs more than emotion to last. At this stage, individuals usually have a clear picture of what they want their future to look like. They may be thinking about long-term stability, personal growth, financial security, family roles, and the kind of lifestyle they wish to keep in the coming years. Because these priorities are more defined, the direction of the relationship becomes more important. Two people may truly love each other, but if they are heading toward completely different futures, the relationship can slowly become hard to maintain. For example, one partner may want a steady, calm life focused on family, and emotional closeness, while the other may be driven by constant change, travel, or career goals that require a lot of independence. In younger years, couples might ignore these differences because the excitement of the relationship feels strong enough to cover them up. But after 40, people become more aware that these gaps shape their daily life in serious ways. Without a shared sense of direction, love can start to feel fragile and uncertain. Purpose in a relationship does not mean both partners must have the exact same goals, but there needs to be a sense that their lives are moving in compatible directions. They need to feel they are building something together, not just enjoying the present with no clear sense of what comes next. This shared vision adds stability because both people understand what they are working toward as a couple. Another important part of purpose is the willingness to support each other's growth. As people mature, they keep changing in their beliefs, ambitions, and interests. A relationship with purpose lets both partners encourage each other's development, not feel threatened by it. When two people feel their relationship helps them grow instead of holding them back, the connection becomes stronger and more meaningful. Shared purpose also shapes how couples deal with problems. Life will always bring challenges like money issues, health problems, family drama, or emotional struggles. When partners feel united by a common vision, these challenges become easier to face together. Instead of seeing problems as threats to the relationship, they see them as things they can handle as a team through mutual commitment. Over time, love that is backed by shared purpose tends to deepen and become more steady. The relationship isn't based only on feelings that can rise and fall with stress or circumstance. It is built on a partnership where both people feel they are creating a meaningful life together, guided not only by emotion, but also by direction, intention, and a chosen path forward.